let's talk about the Expendables. Hello everyone, it's Ledger Forever, and today I'm going to be ranking a pretty good trilogy of action films, the Expendables trilogy, which kind of like comments on some of the things of like how action movies can do certain stuff, and it also just brings in some of the biggest action stars of all time. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Jason Statham, Van Damme. There's also Chuck Norris. There's Harrison Ford. The cast for this is amazing, and just wow. So, with all that said, we're gonna get started by talking with the worst. Now, coming into third place for me is going to be The Expendables 3. Now, this is mostly pretty much everyone's last place. I don't hate it like a lot of people do. I was not the biggest fan of it, I'll just say that. Now, I do think there's a lot more fun because Arnold has a much bigger role in this, and I always love seeing him in the movies. He's always a fun time. Sylvester, as usual, is fun in this. So is Jason Statham. I really loved his role in this franchise. There's also a really funny scene where a guy tells where what is his name? What is his name? Barney tells a person who's in the passenger seat as soon as he says, "Okay, get out. Christmas is coming." And because he was talking about Jason Statham's character, he's like, "It's July," which is hilarious. I thought that was funny, but if you take a look at it, the story pretty generic, and not to mention, it's the execution that was pretty bad in it, and it was nowhere near as entertaining as it should have been. And the fact is, they took a very hard R-rated franchise and turned it into a PG-13 franchise. So I just was not a fan of that part. And I do think there's some fun to be had, like Arnold giving himself a call back to the Predator movies by saying to get to the chopper, which is always fun when Arnold decides to throw, well, just to throw an Easter egg that he was setting up one of his lines, and that was always hilarious. So I do think there's some fun to be had here, but overall, just not the best franchise. Oh, sorry. I mean, overall, not the best movie. Yeah, sorry about that. In second place, The Expendables. I know that a lot of people are not like prone to put this one at number two. They're more prone to put it at number one just because it's like a bit more serious in that thing. But I feel like when it comes to this type of plot, it shouldn't be too serious like this one kind of was. Now, I really enjoy this movie. It is violent. It's one of the most violent movies I've ever seen. So it can be dark, but also it'll have a dark scene that it'll like show something very funny. Like there's a scene where where Sylvester Stallone's Expendables team are just like threatening people, and then he's like, and then you hear a phone ringing, and he's like, "Wait, what's that?" And then Jason Statham's like, "I'm getting a text." That is hilarious. I always love that scene. That is funny, and I do think this is a really enjoyable movie. I know some people aren't always the biggest fan of it. The critics didn't like it either, but I think it's a really fun time, and I cannot wait for the fourth one, and I hope it's as good as the other the other two. Not like there's a third one out there. I'm just kidding, but I'm hoping that it's at least rated R, the fourth one, and it looks like Sylvester Stallone's actually barely in that one, because he's one of the last people to appear in the trailer, which means no Stallone. Oh man, I mean, I like Statham in it because he's one of my favorite characters, but make him on his own. He needs Sylvester Stallone, and it's not like Sylvester Stallone has any other projects, not that I know of, because I think it's only the fourth Expendables that I know of that he has work to do for movies this year, but I may be wrong. But I really enjoyed this movie, and it is a very fun time. But coming in first place easily is The Expendables 2. Now, I know there are some people that would say that the original is better. Now, I just think that the original took itself really seriously for a premise like that, but this one like treats it a lot more silly. So inherently, I could have a lot more fun with this one. I'm also a really big fan of comedy, so there's stuff like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like cracking Terminator jokes that will go over a lot of people's heads. But if you've seen the Terminator movies, you know what I'm talking about. Hence,
I'm back.
which is, and also you get to see Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger getting to exchange Die Hard Terminator lines.
I'm almost out. I'll be back. You've been back enough. I'll be back. Yippee-ki-yay.
If you don't know, the I'll be back is from Arnold in the Terminator movies.
I'll be back.
Stay here. I'll be back.
She'll be back. I'm back. I'll be back.
And the yippee-ki-yay that Arnold also says is making fun of Bruce Willis's Die Hard line.
Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay, mother. Yippee-ki-yay, mother. How about yippee-ki-yay, mother. Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Which is absolutely hilarious, and I just really, really love the movie. It is funny and very quotable, and also we get to see Chuck Norris cracking Chuck Norris jokes in this movie.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
And it's really funny. Also, Liam Hemsworth is in this movie, which is really cool. And the cast is amazing. I do think that this is a really fun time. And now I know there are people that like the original more. It's just my opinion. I like the second more. And it's just as violent as the first one, and it is just as good as the first one, and just better. Now, I know the first one brought us a scene where we get to see Stallone, Willis, and Schwarzenegger in the same room together. But would you rather have that, or would you rather get to see Schwarzenegger and Willis getting to exchange Die Hard Terminator lines? Yeah, I thought so. So that is my ranking of the Expendables movies. If you have seen all three, then share your ranking in the comments. Mine's probably not the right one because you guys probably would not agree with that. But anyway, just share your ranking in the comments. Let me know what you think of these movies, and thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one.